From the heart of Denton, Texas, it's the Creators Table with your host, writer-creator Chris Peel.
Tonight's guest is a world-class illustrator, known for bringing heroes, monsters, and legends to life. His work has appeared in books, games, and galleries across the globe. Joining us from Serbia, it's Darko Stojanović.
All right. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this special edition of the Creators Table. I have with me today a very special guest. I've been a fan of this gentleman's work since I first saw it. And let's not beat around the bush. Let's get Darko Stojanović on the stage. Hey, good morning, sir.
Hi there.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, it's my afternoon. Can you hear me well?
I hear you very well.
Oh, perfect.
All right. Well, first off, thank you for joining me. I've been really excited about this one. As you know, I've been a big fan of your work, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
This is my first ever podcast in English, so if I fumble something, please forgive me.
Oh, well, your English is fantastic, if I may say.
Thank you. I haven't spoken in English in like 2 years.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, sounds very good, my friend. I understand everything you're saying perfectly. You sound great.
Thank you.
Well, let's just talk about. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just for some of the people in the audience who may not be familiar with you or your work yet.
Well, I'm a fantasy illustrator and fine artist from Belgrade, Serbia. I grew up with Star Wars and The Hobbit, courtesy of my dad. So good upbringing, yeah. And I fell in love with heroic epics, Greek mythology, Spartans, Hot Gates, Romans from Asterix and Obelix. I kind of prefer the Romans because of their military gear and tech. I prefer their armor and their discipline and architecture. Knights, of course, Arthurian epics, and Miller, Star Wars, Wheel of Time, Warhammer, whatever. I'm just a huge fan of everything heroic.
That's great. So, well, let's just get right into it. So one thing I've always been fascinated with is create. There we go. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is the way.
No, not.
I know. Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah.
After George Lucas sold it, nope.
Yeah,
not canon for me.
There's I agree. I haven't been a big fan of what Disney's put out, but I mean, I will say like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian were pretty solid. Now the baby's just a big gimmick, cutesy gimmick.
I agree, but the trilogy was, how to put it politely, abysmal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, really, it was. It was very disappointing. I was so excited too when what was it, The Force Awakens came out, because I took my son, who at the time was the same age that I was when my mom took me to see A New Hope when it first released, and Star Wars is what made my creative mind just explode. My imagination, everything, it just was set on fire after I saw Star Wars when I was 4 when I saw Star Wars in 1978. And I know it was released in 77, but they re-released it a year later in some cities, and I lived in that city. So I was 4 years old.
Actually, I also watched a re-release, the remaster edition in the 1997.
Nice.
I was 6, so.
And it just stays with you. Like I can still remember the carpet on the theater floor because they had the drama and comedy masks on the carpet, and I'd never seen that before, and I was fascinated. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked here. We're here to talk about you. So
but we're still talking about the good stuff, so it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Rogue One is.
Oh, I liked it. Yeah. That's
very
one.
Solid.
There are some odds and ends which are good in the Disney era, but the comics are awful compared to the old Dark Horse stuff. I grew up with the Knights of the Old Republic, the game and the comic. Like even the previous version, the Keldroma brothers, Nomi Sun Rider before the games. So everything else from Disney.
Yeah, man, I loved Tales of the Jedi. I couldn't
Yeah.
wait for every new issue, man. I was so excited when a new issue would hit the stands. But and like I said, I thought Mando season 1 and 2 was decent. I think they missed an opportunity in season 3 to, my opinion, what they should have done is should have done like 100 to even maybe a 200-year time jump. Have Grogu be like basically a young adult, and he's now the Mandalorian. And they would have had no continuity stuff they would have had to mess with. It could have just been pure action adventure. Getting to know. That was my opinion, but who the hell am I? I'm some guy trying to make comic books.
But yet we give them the money, our money.
Yeah.
So I had a problem. I was like, if I hear Snoke or Kylo Ren or First Order at any point in the Mandalorian, I'm out.
Right.
as long as I can pretend it's the old continuity, I'm in.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there, man. So let's talk about. So what I was saying was I've always been fascinated with creators and kind of what their, I call it the creative journey was, and kind of what lit that initial spark of creativity, and wanting to just create something, whether it's a piece of art or whether it's, in my case, whether it's writing stories. Everybody's story is different. So where did your journey begin? I know you've talked to me about comics and learning English through comics, learning to read English through comics. So tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, actually, I already mentioned at the start, it was with Asterix and Obelix comics. Though I was drawing Roman centurions, I've been in love with the armor and the sword since I was a toddler, basically. So I even watched some girlish cartoons like Starl and the Jewel Riders because they had armor, they had whatever. When I was a kid, I was like, armor, I'm good, whatever. It's pink, but it's armor, so no problems.
Yeah.
And then I saw Conan with my dad. I was like, oh, wow, now that's cool.
Yeah.
So everything knightly or everything sharp, basically. So I learned to read with Asterix. I think I was 4. And then I started drawing the Romans, and then a few goals, and then I switched to the cartoons. I think it was made by the Spanish studios, Sam and the Pirate.
Okay.
He was a humanoid tiger. It was a nice cartoon in my part of the world in my childhood. He was a humanoid tiger, and yet again cool. He had a sword. He had a scimitar, basically, and I was drawing him like crazy. So then I started. Then I actually started drawing Warhammer heroes. I discovered Warhammer when I was 10. And that was a huge obsession of mine. Like, besides Star Wars, 40K is the only SF I really enjoy.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm not really familiar with Warhammer. I mean, that came on the scene, later for me. Obviously, I'm an old man, but I hear about it a ton. Obviously, with Henry Cavill being a big fan of it and the show coming up and all that stuff. What is it? Is it a card game? Is it a video game? Is it a novel series? What exactly is it?
It's all of it, basically.
All of the above. Okay.
It branched out, but it started as a miniatures game. Like miniatures on a tabletop.
Right.
And I started with Warhammer Fantasy. I have a huge dwarf army because of the Hobbits, yet again. They're my favorite fantasy race. And then I have some Space Vikings, basically. Space Marines, Space Wolves for 40K. So yet again, beards, fur, axes, drinking meat, drinking beer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Did you ever see, I imagine then you've seen Excalibur.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Man, I got to tell you, every time I see a post on X about that movie, I'm like, to date, still the greatest Arthurian adaptation ever.
Yes. I mean, I like other movies as well, but that one is the best.
Yes. Same here. Yeah, I like some of the other films, but there's just something about. I remember being a kid and seeing it on TV. I just was like, I was blown away, and I love all that stuff too. I love Arthurian, you know, legends. I have always been more attracted to history. So the history about Arthur and the all the different theories of who the historical Arthur could possibly be. Because of course many myths are have a kernel of
Of
truth in them. Yeah, right.
Like a seed crystal.
Right, exactly. So I've always been fascinated with that, and of course, I attribute all of my interest to Star Wars. I love Japanese history, specifically the feudal period, and I love that. I love samurai. I've got tons of history books on Japanese history, and of course, I blame George Lucas for that because I don't know if you've ever seen The Hidden Fortress by Akira Kurosawa.
No, nothing from Kurosawa. Of Japanese stuff, only Hayao Miyazaki so far.
Let me tell you something. I was blown away. I used to think Lucas was this real visionary, and then I saw that movie. I had read an article saying that was his film inspiration for Star Wars. I mean, there is shot for shot that is exactly the same, and we're talking about a black and white movie. This came out in the 50s, I think. Hidden Fortress. I mean, there's a tall, skinny samurai guy and a short, fat one, and they're always bickering.
And they're going through the desert and finding some hidden, carrying some hidden stolen documents, I bet.
Yeah, it's wild, man. But that was kind of the first I think I discovered that when I was in my late teens. It was kind of my, seeing the man behind the curtain for the first time. But the reality is, I mean, George Lucas, he changed filmmaking forever.
He is a visionary for sure.
Yeah,
he just took some building blocks which were already available, and he used them to make something of his own, something unique.
Mm-hmm. So, so it sounds like you've been, making art since a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So was there a point when you knew okay, this is what I want to do with my life?
Actually, that's a funny story, because when I was a kid, in Eastern Europe, it was I can't say it was pre-internet era, but nobody was getting gigs and jobs online, and my whole family, extended family, was like, it's cool, you draw well, but it's not a career, you cannot make a living.
Right.
And I almost became an architect.
Oh.
I actually started classes because we have to pass the exam to enroll at the architecture university. You need to pass the drawing skills and mathematics skills, and I was nailing it. I was acing it. And then my parents one evening, they were like, "Okay, but do you like it?" I told them, "I'm good at it." No. Do you like it? Well, not really. Right. Then skip it. You'll find a way. And
great parents, right there. Great parents.
Yeah. I'm extremely grateful for that.
Yeah.
I guess I'll be a decent architect, but I wouldn't be happy.
Right.
I would be happy only if I could design castles, but not less skyscrapers. So
nice.
And then,
although I'm sure there's a market for that. There's got to be a market for that somewhere.
A slim one, but yeah, here and there. Or although we have a lot of people working from Eastern Serbia working in Germany, as guest workers, like seasonal workers. And we have a joke, when they return from Germany, they build castles in their own villages. So yeah, if I want to build something kitsch, that's it. With plaster lions, plaster eagles, lots of marble, lots of gold, stuff like that. But nothing moss covered, wine covered stuff, nothing rustic.
Right.
But ultimately, I did my best, and I have no other expression, but it haunted me to become so good I cannot be ignored. Like I started drawing because I knew I still know it only depends on my own skills and my own perseverance. And whenever there's a turbulence in the market, whenever a lot of people get sacked from jobs, whenever whenever there's a lean year for freelancers, I'm just like, okay, just use your savings, work, get better every time. So I think that mentality is helping me to stay afloat. And I am always looking for stuff to improve my work. I'm never. I try not to sleep on the laurels. From all the previous works, I have like 5, which I love with all my heart. With everything else, I'm like, I could tweak this, tweak that. I'm not doing it. I'm leaving them as they are. But still, I'm always aiming to improve.
And that's how you do it. You know, that constant drive. I find that the drive and critique. That's how I improve. You know, getting feedback from people who aren't, you know, friends and family and stuff, you know, like when a rando, I'm sure you must get messages on X and stuff a lot, be like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. You know, look at the chat this morning. We have Fabrizio Aiello. He's an artist, writer. Most recently, he had a crowdfund for Horace H. Hoover. It's kind of a comedy, kind of playing it straight. The guy's got a vacuum cleaner for a head. It's actually a fantastic book.
I was like,
so he says, morning, gents. Love your artwork. Amazing stuff. And he's not just saying that. Your art is fantastic. I'm gonna bring your X account up here because I want to show. Or do you have some stuff?
I have a funny story about getting my first real critique.
Got it.
Because you know, Serbia is a small market, like 7-8 million people, and I was already established there, but I had yet to take my own portfolio outside, you know, abroad.
Right.
And I attended an art con in Croatia. It was really close, you know, just next door basically. And there was Marko Đurđević. He's Serbian German and he's Marvel artist, now working amazing stuff of his own, like Orkin or The Genesis. You could check it out. His studio is called Six More Vodka.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. And I showed him my portfolio. He was like, why are you painting? Because you cannot draw yet. I'm like, what? You cannot draw. You started painting too early. I was shocked. I was like, oh my God.
Gosh.
He was, I mean, I'm extremely thankful to him because of the harsh critique. I was in shock. Like, is this for me? Should I switch careers? You know, that was the only time when I actually thought about switching careers.
Right.
And I was like, I'll show him next year. Wait,
there you go.
See. Yeah, next year I showed him my new portfolio. He was like, this, it's okay. It's not bad. Yes. So, from him, that was like winning the Academy Award, basically.
Right.
So he pushed me really hard to advance my skills. And he's a great guy otherwise. He's super professional. Yeah. So nothing personal, just profession. That's it.
Yeah.
For the love
and that's good, man. That's like I said, man, critique is a great tool to help you grow. And let's pull up some of your artwork here. Excuse me. Let's see. Let me share here. Sorry, I'm a little.
You could also open my website. That might be easier.
Yeah. Let's do that. So.
And I just want to segue back into Arthur Hermetas, because one of the formative books for me when I was a kid, my late grandpa bought me the illustrated edition of The Once and Future King with illustrations of Howard Pyle. That was
awesome.
I'm still treasuring that book. It's amazing.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's see. Sorry, I'm a bit of a boomer when it comes to this.
No rush.
This stuff. Here we go. And share. All right, that should be it right there.
No, actually, no. Those are the prints. I mean, sure, you can advertise my print shop, but My website is darkostojanović.com. That's easy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just went to your X account and pulled up the.
Oh, by the way, also on my T-shirt, I'm wearing it on purpose because it's my art as well.
Oh man, that's awesome! I've not seen that piece before.
Oh, it's an oil painting.
That's awesome.
Serbian history.
All right, what was that website again?
My name and surname.com.
Okay.
DARKOSTOJANOVIC.com.
That's easy enough. Ah, yes. Here we go. Yes. Now let's get to share screen. And there we are. See, do you see it? Yeah. All right. So I got to go to my all-time favorite piece. It's this one right here.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this. I mean, when I saw this, it just stopped me dead in my tracks. I mean, this is just beautiful. This looks like a painting from like I don't know, man. This looks like just some classic painting from history. I mean, this is just flipping gorgeous, man. I love this piece.
That's probably my most famous piece online. Only on X, it had like 1 million views combined on all the posts. On Reddit, I think 700,000 or something when I posted it. And something fun, I'm creating not a copy, but another version. A collector commissioned a new version of that. So
what can you tell us? Is there a story behind this? Is there like where did this idea come from?
That's one of my favorite Warhammer heroes with whom I grew up with. That's the Elector Count of Midland, Graf Boris Todbringer. So he's a badass hero. He lost his eye in a duel against a beastman, a monster, in the nearby forest, and he's a champion of humanity. Basically, he's defending his fortress city against mutants, against chaos warriors, like the servants of the Mad Gods. And he had a great campaign where he was the main hero, basically one of the main heroes. He, I don't know, pretty much, I cannot say like Denethor, because Denethor always went mad and did not really participate that much, but he's holding the fort against the forces of darkness. So that's the idea.
Okay, that's awesome.
So everything with him is utilitarian, basically. Some limitations, but mostly a proper warrior gear.
So this is a Warhammer type character, or a character from Warhammer itself?
From Warhammer itself.
Okay.
From the game, from the novels, from the PC game.
Gotcha. Man, that is just beautiful.
And I'm creating a new version, which will be slightly larger at the moment.
Oh,
it's on my easel.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that now? This is what I always ask this question. Is that available as a print?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic! I love prints. Now this is a beautiful piece.
That's Serbian history, because we had in our national epic, there's the Battle of Kosovo. Kosovo was the heartland of our medieval state, still is, despite the current secessionist issues. But there's a legend saying that the red peony flowers got their color. Actually, the red peony, there's an endemic species of peony growing only in Kosovo fields. And there's a legend saying that the red peony got its color from the blood of knights who fell for freedom against the invading Turks. Because the Turks invaded, there was a battle in 1389, and the only Turkish sultan ever to fall in battle fell there, killed by the Serbian knights, 12 of them. Though our own prince was killed, most of the nobility and most of the army. So it was basically a Pyrrhic victory, because the Ottomans withdrew. We saved the state for the next 70 years, but ultimately we were too weakened to properly defend the country and the lands after that.
Wow.
So this is symbolic, like late evening after battle, a surviving knight kneeling in the field of bloody peonies.
Yeah, man. And they convey the emotion here. It's very solemn, like just an absolutely beautiful piece. The background is, you can see the light, like the different shades of light and everything. It's just really gorgeous, man.
I'm actually obsessed by the American Western artist called Mark Maggiore.
Okay.
And his way of painting clouds is amazing. So I'm trying to learn from him, not to copy, but to learn, to incorporate.
Yeah.
Because previously I was painting mostly portraits, but for the portrait to be effective, it needs to have some background.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm learning to infuse more of that.
Wow, holy crap, look at this.
Another Warhammer character.
Man. Sorry, I'm kind of geeking out a little bit right here. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I want this stuff on my wall. Like this is the kind of art I like to have all over my house. So what can you tell us about this guy here?
Actually, that's the Warhammer World's version of King Arthur. There's a nation called Bretonia, with a slight French accent. Actually, basically, it's based on Brittany. It's a mix of French and English versions of the Arthurian mythos. And he's the main guy. He's the king. He's the royal, as they say. And there's a lady with the lake. There's a Green Knight. They're taking their oath of chivalry very seriously. And having grown up on Arthurian mythos, it was just a perfect army for me to collect and paint, and to paint like on canvas. So
Okay.
I love those.
Yeah,
And
they're freaking.
I don't know if you watched the TV show The Blackadder, the British comedy.
No, never did watch that show.
Well, there's a filthy peasant called Baldric. So basically, it's a character of that as well. The knights are noble and the peasants are extremely downtrodden, and yet they love their masters. So slightly humorous. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great. Are there any of these pieces that is like your particular favorite?
The guy with the beard in the armor.
The first guy we looked at, Boris Todd.
No. The Andrew McKinnon, the second row. Yeah, Knight of Clan McKinnon. That one.
Whoops.
And that's a real life knight whom I painted. He's a reenactor, and he was kind enough to let me paint his likeness. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. So all this is oil paintings, yes?
Mostly. The ones we looked so far, they are oils. I have some digital as well.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
The battle scene, Bouvines, that one. That's painted in digital for a French documentary about the life of St. Louis.
Oh wow, that's freaking awesome, man! You're in a documentary. Your art is in a documentary. That is freaking cool, man.
Actually, you can open my Instagram. It got animated, so you can see the animated scene there.
Oh, sweet. Let's see. Do I have Instagram? Yeah. It's gonna be. Let's see. Let's find you here. So,
but my website shows my main passions, like history, fantasy, and knightly epics, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting. I gravitated toward, as soon as I saw your work, I just was like, I think I immediately reached out to you and was like, hey, you ever do comic books? So let's talk about comic books.
For sure.
Have you done comic book work?
Not recently, but I have. I will not show it because it's ancient. So
okay, all right, fair enough.
It would be embarrassing to show. But the last comic I done was 4 pages back in 2014.
Okay.
It was the centenary of the First World War, basically.
Oh, cool.
So.
Yeah,
And
you know,
also,
interesting fact there. My grandfather fought in World War One.
oh,
Yeah, he was much older than my grandmother.
I guess at the Western Front.
Yeah,
Did,
yeah, he was a Marine. He
yeah.
fought in France. And I'm trying to find this piece. Man, good Lord, let's switch screens here. Do do do. Let's see. Stop screen, share screen, Instagram, share. Here we go.
You'll need to scroll some.
Look
Oh.
at that, man. Wow. The color is just fantastic here.
That was actually a really fun project because your compatriot from the US wanted his personal heraldry painted like an illustration, including the centaur holding the banner, not the knight. So I loved it. It was really fun to work on.
Yeah, it's just that is just gorgeous. I love the colors. I love the contrast. Man, that is so good. So I keep scrolling down.
Yep. I'll tell you when. There in the middle. The grandpa with the, yeah, that's it. The old king. That's the scene. Not sure if you can zoom in. Perhaps open it in the new tab. It might be larger.
In the what?
In the new tab, it might be larger. In its own tab. Middle click on that.
Okay. Open a new tab.
Should be full screen. And I will play it with the sound. It's not the sound from the movie, but I had the melody from a French movie I liked.
Gotcha. Bear with me here.
Oh, yes. That's it.
Man, that music is great.
It's from, actually, there is a movie recommendation for you. Les Visiteurs, The Visitors. It's a great French comedy about a knight and his choir on getting transported to 20th century on accident, time travel. And they're flabbergasted by toilets, by cars, but by whatever. It's super fun.
By everything, I would imagine. Yeah.
They see a car and they're like, oh, it's a devil's chariot. It's going around, but there are no oxen to pull it. It's super fun.
Oh, wow, that's funny.
Yeah.
What they must think of vehicles and airplanes and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I was talking about my grandfather. My grandmother, she was born in 1913, and I think of all the things that she saw. The town she grew up in, I saw a picture of when she was a little girl, and it had dirt road. It looked like a picture from an old West movie. I think of somebody, starting out life like that, and then she passed away in 2004, I believe it was. And you think of everything she freaking saw, like it's got to feel like living in a sci-fi movie.
Just the stuff I saw in my own life, and let alone you or our own grandparents, yours or mine, or you just, I don't know. When I was a kid, we were playing outside. There were no cell phones. If you had a Sony or a PC, you were like probably the only kid in the block, and everybody was playing your games. It was fun to gather around.
Yeah, you had a line of kids waiting to play.
Today, everybody, if they're playing online. So no physical presence. They're playing with their phones, not outdoors. We were climbing trees, stealing cherries, eating, stealing apricots from the neighbor. I'm stealing. I mean, the neighbors were like, sure, eat it. But it was fun to pretend we were stealing it.
Yeah.
But that was fun growing up. My late grandpa, he took some yarn and a penknife, took us to a nearby forest, a park forest actually. And he made us bows and arrows to me and my brothers.
Oh, sweet.
And we returned home like kings.
Yeah.
Every other kid was like, oh, where did you buy that? You cannot buy that. Grandpa made those.
Hell yeah, man. I used to do that when I was a teenager. A friend of
Yeah,
mine, we'd after school we'd go out in the woods and build forts and all kinds of stuff. And we made our own bows and arrows. Yeah, there's nothing quite like that.
that's the best.
Yeah.
But sadly, well, not sadly, I mean, it's what it is. But I'm a city kid, so I never had the opportunity to grow up in the countryside. Basically, only, as I said, forest parks. Everything is nice and well kept. So I went to the art gathering in rural Serbia, and the folks there was a bunch of kids. I was actually lecturing there, telling them about how to become professional and stuff like that. And they were teaching me how to steal corn and how to start a fire, then bake corn on fire.
Oh, wow.
Like proper village kid. It was super fun. So
that's awesome.
It was an adventure. And they were like, okay, so here's the first row. You get one from this row, one from the second row, two from the third row. So it's not too obvious. Somebody was picking the corn.
Yeah, that's I'm into primitive living skills. That's a bit of a hobby of mine. Bushcraft, some people call it. And I've got two boys, and we'll go on hikes, and I'll show them stuff. I'll quiz them on trees, and what things are helpful about the various trees and stuff like that. Like cedar trees, or the bark is really good for starting fires and all this, that, and the other, and as tinder rather. And I tell you one thing that was cool is I learned how to, and I was able to do this, start a fire using a bow drill kit. And when you can create fire using 10,000-year-old technology, man, that gets the blood pumping. It's quite an amazing feeling.
That's so amazing. I wish actually I could learn that efficiently, to have a crash course, because I know next to nothing about bushcraft. I mean, I probably could build build some shelter. Yeah. But it would take me more time, more effort than to somebody who knows his skills.
Sure. Yeah, I got into self-reliant stuff. I was a bit of a paranoid person, and I was in the fall of civilization any moment. So I started getting into all that bushcraft type stuff. But it's just fun, And my boys go fishing a lot. I've got a 14-year-old and 11-year-old, and they love going. They like yesterday after dinner, they spent the whole rest of the day fishing. We got a pond nearby, so they'll go out there and fish all day if we let them. But yeah, they're pretty good. Although they do get hooked on the phone stuff.
The stuff you're saying right now. I've never been to the U.S. so far, but I have deep nostalgia for the U.S. from the movies which I watched when I was a kid. And that includes, Boy Scouts, bushcraft, stuff like that. It sounds so amazing to me. Like something warm and cozy, like a nice house, not a flat. There's a nearby pond. You can build a fire. You can walk around in the bushes. It sounds really, really amazing.
Yeah, and of course it all depends on where you live. I'm sure if I built a fire, my neighbors would probably call the frickin' fire department. He's drunk again. Get over here.
True enough.
But they got things like chimeneas and stuff, so that helps. I did try to create a natural fire pit in the backyard, but it didn't work out too well. So
we have a great passion for grilling in Serbia.
Oh, sweet.
We love good grill. And a friend of mine went to the Netherlands. He was working there. He started a grill, and like 15 minutes later, the fire department arrived. He got a huge fine. He was like, but it's my backyard. No, you have to, there's some regulations. You need to, call somebody to tell you'll be making a grill just in case. They be prepared, on standby if something catches fire. Like, it's crazy. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild to think of. I did hear some stories of that happening here, but those were outliers. I mean, grilling is like it's a national pastime almost here. Especially, I'm
Yes.
in Texas, so especially in Texas, I mean, everybody's got a brisket recipe that there is their pride and joy, and it seems to be like the longer you smoke your brisket, the more cred you have. Like, I had this one on for 18 hours. It's like, oh my god. But yeah, grilling's the best, man.
Well, actually, we have we kind of sure meat as whole. Yes, I mean whole chunks of meat, but we also do minced meat
Oh,
kebabs.
tell me about that.
So there's a city in Serbia called Leskovac. They pride themselves about being the world capital of the grill because they have a grill fest every year, every summer for I think for a week. They're grilling whatever,
Hmm.
and they have amazing cevapi. It's basically minced meat, pretty much sausages, but without skin, like this.
Okay.
And they told me a secret, their secret from that particular place. They put some lamb meat in it and lamb
Nice.
fat to make it tender and nice. So
Ooh.
really tasty. Like
That
mostly
does
beef
sound
plus
good.
some lamb.
Yeah. That's wow, that's really good. I like lamb. One of my favorite dishes is shepherd's pie.
Oh, love it.
And like real shepherd's pie should have lamb in it, and like you can only get it with ground beef around here. So my wife makes a good shepherd's pie, but yeah, we're stuck with using ground beef. I also like rabbit. I don't know. I make a mean rabbit and mustard sauce. I don't know if you've had rabbit before, but
I've tried rabbit on Malta because they have lots of rabbits there. But it was just it's a sweet sauce with figs. It was really nice and cloves.
oh, that sounds
Yeah.
good. Now we're getting on to food. Let's get back to your art.
Yeah, true enough.
I'm getting
But
hungry.
I'm a foodie. I love traveling. I love reading. I love exploring. So those are all topics near and dear to me.
It's interesting you bring up the Arthurian stuff. Again, I was into the Greek mythology. I loved Greek mythology when I was a kid, and then of course seeing Excalibur, I just wanted more and more and more. So, and as I've gotten older, the history behind the original Welsh legends of the Arthurian poems and stuff like that. I've incorporated that into my bootlegger universe. So there's a group called the Order of St. George that was originally formed in this universe. It was originally formed by the surviving Knights of the Round Table after the Battle of Camlan. And so they, Arthur, charged them with, protecting the realm from these supernatural incursions that were happening, and so that was their duty. And they were just, it was just the order of the table, the Order of the Round Table. And then comes St. George's time, and he was a member of this organization, and he was thought of as like all that. He was like the penultimate example of what a knight from the Order of the Round Table should be. And then, of course, he kills this dragon, and it becomes this big, huge thing. And they decide they rename the order after him. But I've incorporated this Arthurian stuff, obviously, into my bootlegger universe, and I absolutely, and it's funny how you can get started on one direction and it can it's almost like a family tree, you're kind of like you're at the bottom, and then your idea goes up and splits off and splits off and splits off, and you've got this massive bloom in front of you, so to speak.
But like the myths and the legends plus the history, the inspiration which can be found in them is infinite.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is there something like do you sit down and think like, okay, I'm going to paint this character, or I'm going to paint this scene, or does something strike you? Do you see something or hear something or maybe read or something, and then you think, okay, I see this in my mind, I want to get it on canvas? How does that work?
It's actually both. I see something, or I even better, I read something. I read a great line, which strikes my imagination. And most of my head is abuzz with dozens of ideas. So it feels like I'm riding a very wild horse, and I have to rein him in to point him to a direction which I want to go to arrive. And then I focus on one project mostly, because if I focus on several, I'll never finish the previous ones, because it's always a new idea.
Yes.
So I have so many ideas of which for stuff which I want to paint. So for professional stuff, yeah, sure, I get the art brief
Yeah.
as usual. But for personal stuff, it's always the fight, like a bunch of kids shouting for my attention, basically, ideas.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I refer to it as the voices. I write because I've got to stop the voices.
True enough. I say artists are usually not alone in their own heads.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we have
and I think
so many characters in there.
Right. And I think that's true for anybody who creates. And it's not necessarily always a character or something like that, or I play guitar as well, and my son's a musician, and I'll just hear a song, and then I'll kind of riff off it in my head, and I start hearing different tunes, and I think it's pretty similar. There's just, and I think the interesting thing too is how different people are. You've got people like yourself, and other artists who you have that drive, that need to create, that need to take what's in your mind and give it life by, either giving it words or giving it paint, right?
Or giving it sound.
Right. Give it sound. Exactly.
Yeah.
But there are some people who that just isn't how their brain's wired. And they don't have that need to, that drive to create. It's not a criticism. It's just, I just find the psychology of that stuff to be very fascinating.
It's a fact. It's not a criticism, but yet again, my parents are engineers. I'm not. And I'm glad I'm not.
Right.
To each their own. So I'm glad because I have the drive to create. Because I have so many stories to tell with my art.
Right.
And as with everything, we stand on the shoulders of giants, basically. So my older colleagues, which inspired me from when I was a kid, I owe so much to them because of the inspiration. So
so now let's switch, because that just, what you just said just kind of triggered something in my head here. What's your opinion, or take rather, on AI? What do you think about that?
I don't like it in general, because I don't know, Mass Effect, the Terminator, not every, but pretty much half the SF books or games or movies taught us not to mess with AI, first of all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then ultimately, AI art, I find it soulless. It lacks the spark. So I'm not really scared. Sadly, I see lots of people getting laid off, and I think it's way harder to start right now because the entry level is so much higher for the kids. But ultimately, I'll paint. So even if I had to find a day job, God forbid, I'll continue painting. So this is my passion, and there's nothing else to it. I just want to create in any conditions possible.
Right. No, I hear that, man. Yeah, I think, and I totally get what you're saying. I think that I think it has its place. For me in particular, I have found it very helpful. I don't know. I've never been officially diagnosed, but I think I may have ADHD or dyslexia or something because I get distracted very easily, and I lose focus or something else will pop into my head and I'll start something else. But what I do use AI, but what I use AI for is to keep me on track and to keep track of ideas. Because I have forgotten so many ideas, like story ideas and things like that. Like AI has helped me to keep all of it straight and to keep record of all of my different stories and it helps me to just it's almost like an organizational tool is what I use it for. And it's not it's not writing any stories or
Mm.
I will use it to maybe create like the thumbnails, right, for my creators table show. I'll use it to create something like that because frankly I just can't afford. I can't afford to make a comic book. I can't afford to have custom made, thumbnails and stuff like that. So,
But hopefully soon.
right, exactly. Yes, that is the plan. That is the hope. So, I definitely think
Actually,
it has its. I definitely think it has its place. Um, if we're talking about concerns, my concern is how it's used in education,
mm.
teaching children. Who's programming it, who's putting in parameters, things like that. That's kind of my.
And also
I've got kids. Got kids in school, so
the kids forgetting to think. They need to think, not just get quick results.
yeah, that's
They need to
been
ponder.
that's been an issue for, gosh, probably since the internet.
Oh, well, yeah, kinda. But this is so much worse. It's exacerbated to nth level, basically.
Right.
And also, I want to say, just starting a comic podcast, it's really unique. I don't know any comic book podcasts because in Europe the comics are dying, sadly.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh
like
no.
the readers are increasingly older. Like it's the fans from the 70s, and the French industry, which was the largest alongside the Italian one. I'm not in it. I'm not working there, but my friends working there, they're claiming their print runs are getting smaller and smaller.
Oh wow. And what's interesting is that's sad. That sucks to hear because I gravitate toward European comics. Like I love, I respect the art that is done here. It's just so much of it is all superheroes. I mean, and I've never been one for the superhero comics. I mean, when I first started getting comics, I was getting GI Joe. I was about 12
Mm.
years old. GI Joe's what got me into comics. I read only two titles. It was GI Joe and the Nam. So I was into, Rambo was a big deal. There was a ton of movies about Vietnam. My uncle was a Vietnam vet, and so that's what I really liked. So I didn't. And now I liked, cartoons. I liked the Super Friends and stuff like that. I would watch that all the live long day. But when it came to comics, it was always military based stuff, and so the American comic book industry is just dominated with superhero and cape type stuff, and with that, typically comes a very stylized art form. I
Sure
like,
enough.
yeah, and I like more of a painterly realism. I like the use of space. And the only way I really describe that is with like Mobius.
Oh, he's a legend.
Yeah, and just some of most of the pages, most of the panels, you'll have just a lot of space around whoever, the central piece or a part of that, panel or page will have so much open space around them. And I don't just mean like, blank, I'm talking about background and a city environment or a forest environment or whatever you, and it just is so, that use of space is so dramatic, and I've always really, just from appreciating art, I've always been more aligned with what European comics are putting out. So that really kills me to hear that.
Actually, drawing a comic is more like directing a movie than painting a work of art, because you have to direct every shot, then compose them in a page, and then even compare the pages in a spread when you open 2 pages. So great comic book masters make it look effortless,
True.
make it flowing.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, as you said.
Let's take a look at the chat here. We've got some chats going on. Tank Ferret, show more art, but keep the conversation rolling. Well, you asked and you shall receive. So I have started bringing art back up.
I'll be back in a second, just to pick something up to show you.
All right, you got it. Let's see. Make sure you check out the amazing portfolio of Darko. Yes, please do. I mean, his artwork, as you see, is just absolutely gorgeous.
This is a comic book recommendation, like my personal favorite currently. It's called Black Sad. This is Serbian edition. It's set in the US in the 50s, and the art is just outstanding.
Oh, wow. Like anthropomorphic
animals. And like, this is a story basically about the Ku Klux Klan, polar animals against everybody else, basically.
Oh, wow.
It's very mature, but the art is outstanding. Everything is in watercolor. So let me find something. Very, very film noir. The Black Cat, he's the private investigator.
Oh, nice.
The main character.
What is it called again?
Black Sad. It's black
gorgeous.
As word than SAD.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Damn, I don't have a pen.
It's really amazing.
Let's see. There we are. Let's see here. Fabrizio Aiello. I've been a programmer for 25 years. I have no problem with AI taking that work from me, but not my writing or art.
Yeah, actually, one of my best friends, he's a programmer. He says that AI makes his work way more efficient and effortless. But I don't know, like, I'm still not a fan. I'm not sure I could trust it to write proper code if I was a programmer. So I
yeah, that's true. Because and I've experienced, like, it'll say some really dumb stuff, and it'll make a lot of mistakes. I've I talk about having these thumbnails made. I'll set the prompts and everything, and I'll say, like, look, this is a thumbnail for StreamYard, and then it'll always make the file too big. It'll make the actual image itself too big and cut off. And I'm like, okay, no, make this for StreamYard. And it'll do like 3 or 4 times in a row, and I'll get mad and I'll just start saying, what the hell is your problem? Stupid. Oh, my bad. That was
actually, not to sound like anti-AI snob, but I'm not. I never tried using AI to create anything, so I really cannot relate. I keep hearing stories about that, but the only AI I get is when I Google something. The first line is always Google AI.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Mr. Painter Man, cross-hatching. What's your opinion?
Love it. It's extremely time consuming, but I love it. So the only thing, it can be taxing on the wrist because I'm using a brush, not a pen.
Right. You got that carpal tunnel, man. That's got to be.
Yeah.
I've used AI to help with coding for Assembly and Unreal. It saved me days of time as opposed to me having to manually do everything. Yeah, like I said, man, AI's got its place for sure. I just don't think that I'm not going to use any AI art for any comic book at all. I'm never going to use it for anything to generate, monetarily speaking. Like I use it for a thumbnail. I created this thing called the bootlegger pledge, the bootlegger pledge, fulfillment pledge, because for crowdfunding, you need to build trust. The people need to trust that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, that you're going to make the book, and they're going to get what they're paying for. So we had a whole no AI. There will be no AI used in any comic books. Excuse me. Not even for logos. The logo we have, it's kind of a whiskey label look for bootlegger comics. I paid an artist to actually make that. Like I said, what I use AI for is just for making little promotional things. Like I said, we had a bootlegger seal. It was just a little seal design for the AI, no AI, which was kind of funny that I used AI to make a no AI little piece of art. And then the fulfillment pledge, we will never start a new campaign before the previous campaign has been fulfilled. We won't double dip, so to speak, as I call it. Everybody will receive their books, and then we'll launch the next campaign. So I came up with I wanted a little image that looked like it was a homage to the comic code of conduct or whatever thing. So just little stuff like that, but nothing that would ever be something somebody would pay for ever.
Actually, there was a to me extremely funny campaign against AI in the art circles, because the first AI images had like dozens of fingers and were extremely creepy teeth, creepy proportions, bad anatomy, stuff like that. So a guy actually painted a hand showing the middle finger to AI with 7 fingers. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great. That was always the tell, right? Like somebody would have like 50 fingers on one hand or something ridiculous. That's funny.
I saw an original oil painting, or so it was claimed, sold recently. And most of us thought it was basically AI printed on canvas with some refurbishing, with some touch-ups in oils. And yet again, it was sold to a collector, which is fraudulent.
Wow.
So people should be aware about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, if you say no AI, that's no AI. And lots of companies nowadays, illustration companies which hire illustrators, they require us to refrain from using AI, which is totally fine with me. It would take the joy of creating for me, because I do it for the love of the craft, as well as the final result in the painting.
One thing I will do when I'm writing, I'll hit a wall. I'll hit that wall where I've just kind of, I don't know if my brain's spent or what I had in the tank is done. I'll just kind of not be sure. So what I'll do is I'll ask it to render an image of like the last page that I wrote, and then I'll see that image, and it'll get the fires going again. And just kind of a nudge, but that's all I've ever done, for creativity, if you will.
In my case, the nudge is actually my collection of art books, like the communication to. Yeah. I probably have a obsessive compulsive collector disorder because I'm collecting a lot of stuff. like books, swords, whiskey bottles, Warhammer miniatures, stuff like that. So
Nice. Yeah, I was on a kick there of sake sets. The little cups and the little bowls, the little ceramic handmade stuff. Oh man, I've got a nice little collection of that stuff. And then I was a pipe smoker, so I started collecting pipes. I had to stop doing that because pipes get crazy expensive.
really,
Yes.
I'm actually
Especially
a
you
Cuban
get
cigar guy.
into.
So
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Well, I used to be a cigar guy, but I just enjoy the smell and the taste of a pipe more these days. Especially you get into handmade stuff. Even if it's briar, you could get a briar handmade pipe and it's $2,000. Then you get into stuff like meerschaum. I've got a few meerschaum pipes. But anyways, I'm getting distracted
it's a lot
again.
of Cuban cigars. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Tell us about this character here. This is something very different from what we've been seeing.
Oh, actually, it's a great Cthulhu playing Warhammer.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm being too loud.
He's tossing dice. They are the miniatures, and that was
that's
for a
great.
T-shirt. I'm not sure actually if it ever got printed, but I love doing it.
That is hilarious. I had no idea that's what that is. That is fantastic.
Yeah, I grew up reading the works of H.P. Lovecraft, so Cthulhu equals creepy for me. That's proper
I'm right
horror.
there with you. I'm right there with you. I started reading Lovecraft when I was in high school, and got all my friends into him. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Lovecraft, and I'm a big fan of Robert E. Howard.
Actually, I never read Robert E. Howard, but I should. I only read the comics.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Frankly, I'll just put it that way. He gets, in our day and time that we're in, it gets labeled as quote problematic because it's very much a product of its time. I don't care. I mean, the storytelling is just amazing. Go ahead.
It's pointless to just disqualify the works made 100 years ago.
Right. Absolutely agree.
You should read Uncle Tom because there's a story. The slavery is bad. Do not censor it because it mentions slavery.
Right. Yeah, I mean the same thing with Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, and it just even H.P. Lovecraft. I've seen a lot of posts lately complaining about him being a racist because of the name of his cat in the story, and the name of a cat in one of the stories. I get it. I mean, that was 100 freaking years ago. Yeah, it's bad. The stories are great.
You cannot apply modern morals to Julius Caesar or Alexander the Great.
Exactly.
It won't work.
You can't. You can't judge stuff with a modern lens to stuff that happened 100+ years ago. Anyways, so I've always loved Conan. It was Conan the Barbarian, Arnold. That's what introduced me to the world of Conan when I was a kid. And that movie almost like Star Wars, it just blew me away. And I can't even tell you how many times I've seen it. And then of course there were the comics. And then I found out about Robert E. Howard, and I got these it's a set of 3 hardback collections of all the Robert E. Howard stories of Conan. And I just zipped through all 3 of them super quick. And then I picked up his Solomon Kane collection. And I didn't think I was going to like it, but I absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, you should definitely check out Robert E. Howard.
I will for sure. Actually, thanks for reminding me. Because yet again, I found some comics recently. I bought some comics, Conan, but I need to buy some novels. And the fun fact, I even know the guy who translated them to Serbian. So I have the direct source.
That's pretty cool. Let's check out this piece, man. I just saw this. Let's see here. Share screen. Here we go. Tell us about this guy.
That's the late bishop of New York, of Serbian Orthodox Church. And I actually painted the commission for the current bishop. So it's currently in New York. I mean,
Wow.
I ship the painting.
That
So
is
I really enjoyed that one.
fantastic. Yeah, that is so beautiful.
It was just a black and white photo, and I had to reconstruct everything.
Wow. What church is this?
Serbian Orthodox.
Wow. I love the metal down there. It's a,
Well, we call it Panagia, but I'm not sure how to translate that in English because it's based in Greek, Panagia. So Orthodox, as the Catholics use Latin, Orthodox
Right.
churches have lots of Greek terms because of
Gotcha.
the Western and Eastern Roman empires, basically.
Right. Well, it's a beautiful piece. Man, I feel like we've talked about so much, but I wanted to get more into into your creative process. So so how do you start with, drawing a sketch and pencil, or do you go right in with the paint? How does that work?
With digital, my sketches are basically stick figures, and thank God my art directors are used to it. They can actually find their way out of those, because I'm like, okay, this is it. Do you like it? Do you like the composition? They're like, yep, thumbs up. And then I start painting. In digital, it's way faster for me to actually render in paint than to do proper line work, because I'll obliterate the line work with paint afterwards. So it's just a waste of time, mostly. With oils, for complex compositions, I try to sketch everything. For portraits, I just go in with a brush and just start with the shapes.
Wow. Cool. Let's see here. Do you have any projects you're working on right now? Do you have anything coming up, or?
Oof. Well, it'll be unveiled next week. So I've
Okay.
illustrated the Odyssey, the board game. So now I can say it.
Oh,
It's gonna be shown next week, basically. And I loved it. Like painting the Cyclops and painting Circe, Odyssey. That was a dream come true. I'm working on 2 fantasy book series at the moment, which I cannot yet reveal. Working on a board game, another board game, and as always, personal art. So
yeah.
lots of stuff
Wow,
to do
man,
until
you've got a
September.
lot coming up, man. That's fantastic, dude.
Oh, I'm extremely thankful for that, because lots of people are like, "Oh, we want you to work for us because of your portfolio. We see that you like nights. We see that you like fantasy, so we want you. Well, it's immodest of me to say, but they want me because like, I can do the job as they imagine
Dude,
it. So they want my
hey,
style.
the reality is you're incredibly talented. I mean, it's just the reality. I mean, we've seen the reaction from the few folks we've had here in the comments saying how beautiful the art is. I know you get messages a lot about it. Just the reality. You're a very talented artist, and the proof is in the pudding. And it's so great to hear your success.
Thank you.
And you're also a great guy. I mean,
Thank
how
you.
long have we been? We've been talking in DMs and stuff, and for a while now. And you're just a great dude. And when you see somebody who's a great talent, who is a good, solid person, man, all you want to do is see them succeed, and your success is just fantastic. And
Yet again, I'm extremely grateful because I'm doing my hobby for a living. Basically, I would paint even if nobody paid me to do it. I would do
Yeah.
it for the passion. But this is the only job I ever had, and the only job which was not painting exactly was I was a kid. I was in college. I had a temporary job to sell comics at the comic book fair for like 5 days. and even
Yeah.
that was connected to art. So
That's awesome. Well, we're at the hour 15 mark. I usually keep this show around an hour. How are you doing on time over there?
we can do some more if you have any questions.
All
This is
right,
my first podcast in English,
let's-
so
well,
I'm open to it.
all right, well, let's keep rolling.
Yeah.
What so you've told me before that you've always wanted to work in comics, and to do comic work rather.
Oh,
And
actually, can I make a segue from this?
certainly.
When I was a kid, I really wanted to work in comics, because besides being the architect, the only way I could see myself being the artist was a comic book artist, working for the French, because I went to the illustration course, which was also a comic book course, and lots of my older friends, like 10, 15 years older, they were doing work for the French. It was at the time it was amazingly well paid. The irony is the rates have not moved in like 25 years, so now it's abysmal.
Oh no.
And now nobody wants to work for the French, sadly. A lot of us kids had the dream to work for the French comic book publishers, like drawing, penciling. It's actually in the US you get the penciler, the inker, and the colorist.
Yeah.
The French have either the complete artist, like either you work in watercolor or whatever, or you have the inker and the colorist. So it's not there's not the pencil and the ink stage.
Gotcha.
And I was really pumped to do it. So I met the agent. We were talking. I was like, ultimately, by the time I grew up, it was like I don't know, 10 when I started getting the ideas. By the time I graduated, it just fizzled out. The whole idea just vanished. I was like,
Yeah.
comics, somewhere in the back of my mind, but nothing concrete, which is sad.
Yeah.
I'm sad for the comics because I enjoy good comics.
Yeah, but and I think that's a problem here too. The American comic industry is dying. Specifically the big two, right? Marvel and DC are just dying on the vine, so to speak. And they're trying to get stuff for cheap. Their pay is bad, and also, if you're working on, say, Hulk, right, and you come up with a new character, well, DC or Marvel, they own that character. That's another problem is creator rights, and it's just a tough
greed.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, frankly, really, what else? Because there's got to be a way where everybody can be happy with a situation. The corporation and the creator. There's no reason there can't be some kind of amicable thing. Now, I do know that there are royalties. I've heard, Ethan Van Sciver and Shane Davis. I follow those guys. They talk about royalties that they get from DC being, pretty substantial because of the things they've created and have shown up in movies and games and action figures and things like that. But I don't think what I've heard, Marvel doesn't even come close to that.
But they're big shots.
Yeah, true enough.
If you're a kid starting fresh, I think if I recall correctly, I've heard that it was like $200 US for a page for inking or penciling. You have to do a lot of pages to make a livable wage, especially if you live in a place which is expensive, which is currently pretty much anywhere in the world, basically.
Yeah, especially New York. You've got with Marvel, I think it is. They're in New York, and can you imagine living in New York and getting paid $200? If that's what Marvel is paying artists, that's a crime. That's indie comic rates.
I might not be right. I've heard a story a couple of years ago. I might be wrong. But still,
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Frankly, from talks that I've had with other artists on comic book work, I would not be surprised if that were the case.
The thing is, the way forward, which I see, is working with independent artists and independent publishers for the games, because it's more freedom, and the irony is they're mostly even paying better than the official companies. The large companies,
Yeah,
the well-established companies. So
sure.
the rates have been offered from huge companies, not the main ones. Obviously, the most famous ones, they're paying pretty well, but some of the well-established smaller companies, it's abysmal. You cannot make a living. I didn't even reply to an inquiry because it was like, oh, we'll pay you $75 for illustration. What? No. So no way.
Wow.
It was a couple of years ago, but still, they're paying those rates to their artists, which is extremely sad.
Yeah, that's that'd be like I don't know, man. That's crazy. I will say this. Another argument for AI. AI made it, really showed me what the industry standards are for wages for, comic book interiors, comic book covers, and when it comes to level of talent plus exposure, things like that. So that definitely opened my eyes as a publisher. This isn't my first go around publishing a book. I published a book in the early 2000s, and we called ourselves Half-Ass Publishing. And
Okay.
yeah, and here's I'm actually wearing a shirt from
Okay.
from one of our books. It's a GI Joe
Some
spoof.
big lumberjack.
Yeah, and so it was a satire, humor book, but that was like 2003, and we didn't pay our artists. We had no money. We made money to print the book out of our own pocket. And what we did, though, we tried to come up with something as best we could. So we reimbursed our artists for their equipment they used, and then we were printing 2,000 copies of the book, and I'd mail him either one box or two boxes of comics, and just give him that and be like, you can sell it, do whatever you want with the money. We did one time as we gained more success. We would do the Wizard World shows, and I remember one show we actually paid for his ticket and flew him down to Dallas. He lived in Beaverton, Oregon, which I
Okay.
thought was hilarious. That our main character, Some Big Lumberjack, his sidekick was a beaver, and here our artist lives in Beaverton, Oregon. That was hilarious.
That's
But we flew him
symbolic.
down. Yeah, right. We flew him down and to have him at our table with us, and we split the take, and then I told him, like, whatever you sell, keep 100% of whatever you sell, and we always had a lot of attention at our booths, and he sold a lot of art. He did this one thing that I thought was brilliant. He grabbed a bunch of barf bags from the airplane, and he drew a bunch of our characters on the barf bags. And we used that as an idea when we were selling. We're like, this book's so funny. You're going to laugh so hard, you're going to need to throw up. Here's your barf bag.
That's actually a good marketing idea. So
Yeah. We turned it into something that worked pretty well for him. And so, I can see, really small first-time publishers and stuff like that trying to scrape the barrel, I guess, if you will, for whatever they can get for free. But my goodness, when you come up to somebody who is a clear established artist and you're pitching them $75, like, I would never in a million years do anything like that. That's almost an insult.
The irony is, if I was a writer like yourself, and let's say the two of us want to start a comic book publisher, we would need to save up and fork out some real impressive cash to get good artists, because we'd have to measure up against the DC and the Marvel.
Right.
Otherwise, nobody would read our comic. So the way I see it, like startups, new publishers, they value my work more, in a way, because their success depends on it.
Absolutely. And that's, that's another, when I decided to fire up this bootlegger comic stuff, I knew, I told myself, and I told, I approached my partner who I did half-ass publishing with to see if he wanted to come on and do this with me. And he had that, same mentality of like, just see if you can get Jeff again. Don't pay him. Don't, get the art for free. Don't pay. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going that route anymore. I mean, like, I'm not doing the comedy route this time. So, the art needed to be a higher, I don't want to say a higher caliber, because Jeff was a great artist. It was just very much in line with it was very, it lended itself very well to comedy and spoof, right? And it wouldn't necessarily be a good fit for the stories I'm putting out now. So, but I'm like, I'm not lowballing people. I'm going to pay fair rates and have, treat these artists the way they should be treated. And, I tell you what's been difficult is I'm trying to, I've got a story written that is it's a science fiction story. You know what? This isn't about me. We're talking about you. I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting in promo mode.
But this is a chat, so no worries.
But so I've got a sci-fi story that I've written, and it's a prestige sci-fi story. It's not action adventure. It's about loneliness. And just the loneliness, not just of space, but of just how someone you can just feel alone, like you're part of a species, I guess we'll say. But when you start to advance past your planet, and you're not finding other life, and you're really seeing how lonely the universe is. And this longing for, heritage and things like that it's kind of what the story is really all about. And and I seem to say this with everything I've written lately. It's the best stuff I've ever written. It's very, thoughtful and thought provoking. I mean, it's not cerebral or it's not like an Arthur C. Clarke type of thing. But anyways, I am currently trying to see if I can find an artist to do a I'm drawing a blank on, basically team up and collaborate, be a true collaboration where we split ownership, because my plan is not to publish it through Bootlegger Comics, but to submit it to European publishers, because I think it's very much in line with European comics, or even manga publishers. But it's hard, man. It's hard. Like I send the material to artists who pique my interest, that I think would be a great fit for the visual tone of the story, and they love them. And that's been a great thing for me, is they love the story. They're like, man, this is fantastic. But I had one guy who was really interested, but he's had health issues and stuff. He says he can't commit this year. But everybody's come back to me saying how great it is, but they're just not doing collaborations like that, like shared ownership, rather than paying initially for 5 pages or whatever to have a preview. And so that's kind of where I'm at, and I get it. I totally get it. It's really, the risk is really all on the artist.
Yeah, but it's usually a horror story. When people approach you, they're like, "Oh, we love your art. We need a book cover or whatever. We'll pay you an exposure, not partnership, but exposure." And that's the usual scam, because people who use exposure as payment, they do not know how to run a business, basically.
Right.
But there's a silver lining. A friend of mine, she had a project pitched to her, like you, like it was like I think it was 2 programmers plus her to make a game. She was the artist, and the game made a killing. So, yet again, sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
It depends on the project. So if you're up for it, I could actually connect you with my publisher, the guy who published my last comic. Perhaps he might have something to say about that, or find an artist, or something.
Yeah, sure. Hit me in the DMs.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. But let's get back onto you here. What is there? Is there a medium, or is there something that you've wanted to do but just haven't had the opportunity to artistically?
Well, my 2 passion projects will likely come around this year or next year. So I cannot say what those are.
Okay.
But I've checked the boxes, and I cannot wait to paint it. Both. And I would love, for some odd reason of mine, I don't know why, I would love to actually paint the postal stamp.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because I've seen, actually I know why. I've seen Greg Manches. He's the American artist I really admire. He painted the postal stamp of Mark Twain.
Okay.
And also, I would love to paint some whiskey labels.
Oh, yeah.
Because postal stamps, they're used by lots of people. Whiskey labels, people drink it and people see my art. I've painted the Kentucky bourbon label so far, and some Cuban cigars, actually Dominican cigars,
cool.
I think. But I would like to paint some Scotch labels because I love Scotch.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's fantastic. We ought to talk, man. Like, because I want to make a formal label out of our imprint, our imprint logo, because that's what I wanted to do. Was I wanted it, when I commissioned it initially, I wanted it to look like a whiskey label, to kind of Jack Daniel's inspired, of course, from bootlegging whiskey during the Prohibition era, right? So the whole idea for the name Bootlegger Comics, came from the notion, there was all this backlash on what is considered, woke comics, or DEI hired, people within the comic industry who are, were essentially hired to check a box rather than for talent. And of course, that's all subjective, but I thought, like, okay, well, if somebody had said this, somebody was referring to, I guess they're referring to Comicsgate. I don't know if you're familiar with that movement at all, but
not pretty. I know Gamergate.
It was inspired by, the name was inspired by Gamergate. Yeah. And it was a similar type of thing where you had, the customers who were fed up with, bad art. There was conservative artists and creators in the big 2 who were essentially pushed out, and they brought in people who were, didn't have quite the talent level, whether it be art or writing. And, they felt that it was because of political leanings. So this movement, Comicsgate, was created as a consumer movement to support, really to back artists for merit rather than for, checking a social engineering box. But, oh man, what the hell? I've totally lost my train of thought now. I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Before this.
Oh yeah. So I heard this guy on a live stream, he was in this Comicsgate creator movement, and he said, we're the bootleggers of comics, bringing merit back into the comic world of good quality art, good quality storytelling. And I heard him say that, and I thought, bootleggers of comics, bootlegger comics, like that's a great name. So I immediately had the label commissioned and everything like that, and that's when I knew I was going to start a label called Bootlegger Comics. So that was the thought process behind that. But it's interesting times, man. It's
crazy times. We have to adapt.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Being a freelancer, I love it. I'm not complaining. But I don't know, 10 years ago when I started freelancing, the world seemed like my oyster. To me and to my friends. Lots of jobs, lots of gigs, lots of opportunities. Nowadays, we were talking about the companies which were really well established back then. They do not even exist now. They're just gone, or they're not hiring, or so.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah, I know. Actually, it's funny you say that, because when I was working on this sci-fi story, and I started looking at European publishers, comic publishers specifically, and seeing, if they were, none of them accepting any submissions or anything. And it was
for writing, it's really difficult, because yet again, the French, they prefer to write their own stories and have whoever illustrate them. So
it's the world we live in.
I
keep trying.
I have a friend who actually, kudos to him, because he managed to write a comic for the French and write the comic for the Dark Horse. He's from Serbia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I think he was the only foreigner to write for the French ever. I'm not sure about Dark Horse, but yet again, kudos to him, because he was really, really persistent.
And sometimes that's what it takes, I mean, I think tenacity is definitely, to be a successful creator, it takes that level of tenacity. And I think, in the indie scene, and I'm sure this is in the indie comics rather, and it sounds like this is similar to your experience, is you've got to do so much. You're not just a writer, you're a writer, you're a publisher, you're a marketing, you're the marketing guy, you're the merchandiser, you have to wear so many hats,
You get to be the one-man band. I always say I'm the CEO, CCO, Chief Financial Officer, actually CFO, worker employee of the month, catering, marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I used to introduce myself as Chris Peel, writer creator for Bootlegger Comics, and janitor, and IT guy. So
Yes.
it's
thank God I didn't have any janitorial problems lately, so it's good.
Yeah.
So,
is there anything else you want to discuss? Is there we kind of briefly mentioned some upcoming projects of yours, which I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap things up? We're getting at about the hour 40-minute mark.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's wrap it up. But I don't know. Just a quick question. The audience, are they artists or fans of comics? Because
the audience for the show.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some artists have been on here today, like Fabrizio is an artist.
Yeah.
Scribe Comics, he popped in. He's a writer, artist, creator. Tank is it? Yeah. So everybody who's commented is an artist.
Yeah.
But we also have fans pop in and stuff, and comic fans. And this is very early on. I only just started this program. I don't know. I think this is like my 4th episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and my channel is a very small channel, so
but still,
we're growing.
I just want to address the audience, to all the fans. Thank you. I mean, to anybody listening to us. And to all the artists, just stay persistent and stay unique. Do your own stuff. That's the only way forward. I mean, with this AI plague being able to copy anything, it cannot copy ideas because it cannot imagine anything. So just be yourself, and it'll work wonders. That's my opinion. That's my own take
Absolutely.
on my own art, and just I want to share that.
No, I think that's you've absolutely nailed it. I mean, the reality, like, I can see a piece of artwork and know, like, okay, that's definitely AI.
Mm.
It just there's, and I know this may sound trite or what have you, but there definitely just seems to be something missing. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's my opinion. I'll always prefer human. I'll always work with human creators, um, especially when it comes to, like, personally, when I'm working with artists, whether it's for the Nostradamus effect or I've had some stuff done for Sangre de Cristo. I like to give the artists a lot of creative freedom for a few reasons. Like, I know for a fact that an experienced comic artist has a much better idea of how to direct a reader's eye across the page
Mm.
than I do. They have a much better idea on how paneling structure works and is engaging than I do. So, like, I've been very much like panel one, panel two, panel three, etc. I'm actually changing my script writing for books to say page one. Here's everything for page one, and then we can spitball, we can work together to find out how to do the panels, or like, I give them total creative freedom. Like, I may have as long as the idea of what I have is there. I want the artist to really exercise those creative muscles. And I think it's worked out great for me. I mean, the artists I've worked with, um, Carlos Granda, he did the pencils and ink for the pages I have done for the Nostradamus effect, now called The Prophet's Curse. Just fantastic. I had some covers done by some various artists. I had a cover done by Neil McGregor. He's a Scottish artist who
Much love to Scotland.
Yes, man. He did a cover for our second title called Sangre de Cristo that just is amazing. And we worked together. We would do like FaceTime or WhatsApp and talk back and forth that way. And he'd ask me questions, and I'd ask him questions. He'd ask me a question. I'd be like, well, what do you think? What do you think is your best thought? Like, I'm like, here's what I think, but what's your opinion here? And he everyone I've worked with has enjoyed the process, and I have too. So I just believe in. Now, there's definitely other creators out there, writers, who want to rein that in and have a lot of control. But for me personally, I'm not saying my way's the best for me.
Well,
And
your way is the best way for me as well, because like, the worst thing which can happen in a gig is when somebody tries to use my hand to draw his own idea, his own exact idea.
yeah,
So, like, literally, I had a feedback like 10 years ago from a publisher. Make this dove on his hand 5% smaller.
oh my gosh,
Like, well, 5%, sure, but it's very exact. But why? But yeah.
see, I see that. That's like a slap in the face.
I asked him, but why exactly 5%? That he was a self-published guy. He was like, well, I need to have some feedback. Sure, I'll do it, but just for
Wow.
the sake of it.
Yeah. No, I have, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can only just say from my point of view is, like, I've got no, I don't know. I think an artist can just see my words, and I want to see what it creates in their mind. Again, as long as the essential idea of my intent, that's what I call it. As long as the intent is there, like have at it, go nuts. Like let's see, show the world what you can do. And it's worked out really well. I'm very pleased with everyone I've worked with. So that's how I like to work. So
it's a great way to work,
yeah,
and it's a pleasure to work with.
and it's fun, man. I've had so much fun just talking about a panel or a page or a cover, like how to create it. I think if you don't do that, a true collaborative process of how to frame this piece, specifically in this case a cover. Like we both just had a blast, and we chat and we've become pretty good friends over the whole thing. So I mean, it's made my life better. Well, I tell you what, man,
making a small mark on the world, it's always worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, even this quick chat. First of all, I met you face to face in a way for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Which is fun, though you need to grow the mustache back, the one from the intro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming back. I got it coming back now.
Suits you well. But ultimately, who knows? I mean, we might not meet, or we might meet, but it's been in face to face. But it's been such a pleasure to exchange ideas. It's always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And hearing again, always hearing feedback is always great. But we're coming up on close to that 2-hour mark. Darko, man, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Again, as you know, I'm a huge fan of your work. I love what you do. I'm excited for the projects you've got coming up. I'm excited for you. Again, you're just a freaking awesome guy and phenomenal artist. And I'm really honored that you came on to my little show and took some time out to have a chat with me.
Thank you so much for the compliments, for the kind words. And the honor is mine for being invited. Yet again, my first podcast ever in English. So,
well, you nailed it, man.
I had slight stage fright. So
yeah, I was nervous too. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's like, he's gonna think I'm some joke or something.
Oh,
but no, I was nervous too, man. So you nailed it, dude. I not to sound whatever, but your English is great. So you've got a lot of great things to say, huh?
To quote my Portuguese friend Sofia, she was like, when you're tired, you sound like Dracula. I was like, thank you, Sofia. So it comes with the turf, coming from Eastern Europe. So that's it.
Fantastic. All right, Darko. Well, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to see more of your art. Thank you again. And thanks everybody for watching. Scribe, Tank, Fabrizio, thank you everybody for watching and for chatting. And we'll see you next time on the Creators Table. All right.
Thank you, guys.